What's up, guys? It's your boy Spiritual Markets back on Spiritual Academy. We back in nature. You feel me? In nature. All right. So I want to make this little video so I can tap in with y'all, man. It's been a minute since I've been on a video at all. But listen, I was tapping in, tuning in, right, and just going down the rabbit hole. So you know how today, majority of things that we are in, majority of systems and things we use are artificial. Birds just went by artificial, right? A lot of artificial pigeons out there. No, but you know how majority of things are artificial, right? And I always, well, not always, but it was some things that I was just looking into today. And one of the things they said in church back, if you grew up in a church, or Catholic or Christian, whatever it is that you grew up in, right? They always just say ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right? So I'm like, okay, that's nothing that came up to me. But I'm like, okay, why do we have funerals? Why do we have these? Why do we put our bodies in these boxes? Aren't we supposed to go dust to dust, ashes to fucking ashes, like they showed us in the fucking Bible or at church, right? Why? You know what I'm saying? Let me make sure that you can turn it down, man. Turn it up. Yeah. Why? Right? Why the hell would they say that? But we don't go back to the earth. We don't go back to the earth, nigga. Why? Because majority of the caskets are refined. What is refined, y'all? Refined means it is highly ultra processed. The earth cannot take it over. If you was to go and dig up somebody right now, you would have to open the casket and then the body would be decomposed. But why? You're not going ashes to ashes, dust to fucking dust. You know, that's bullshit anyway. It's programming anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, if we were supposed to go back to the earth naturally, right? Why they got us in caskets? It made me think, what nutrients is the earth getting that y'all had to deprive it from by creating caskets and glorifying death, right? Because I did my own research. I did my own shit where it's saying, oh, we started this back in the early 19th century to glorify death, to make it, to beautify it. Stop that bullshit. Right? Stop that bullshit. But it was like, I was so like just into that to the point where I started to realize, okay, wait a minute. First off, the earth needs the nutrients. Once our soul leaves from this vessel, we are not in need anymore. Like, I understand nowadays we don't have land. We don't own the land, which is still ours. We do own the land. It's ours. We just lost the war. And now they are over our land, choosing who gets it and how much it costs. And that's a whole nother fucking rabbit hole upon itself. I can make a whole nother video about that. But it was like, I just started tapping in, like, what nutrients, when did we start using caskets? So I did the research. I started looking up, like, okay, we started using caskets in the early 19th century. Okay, so I'm like, okay, wait, what did we use before caskets? And what did fucking Google say? Oh, well, we use biodegradable things that can be easily processed by nature, right, to tap into that. So I'm like, okay, bet. So y'all telling us this shit in our face. But again, go and try to buy some linen, right? Go and try to buy a fully linen bed. That shit costs thousands of dollars on purpose. So I'm like, okay, y'all using this shit. First off, y'all are depriving Earth from its natural nutrients. First off, death isn't natural. It has become natural over the past many centuries because we fell in consciousness and forgot the way to ascend naturally, ascension, through our own DNA template and get the fuck out of here, Merkaba out of here, or go through ascension portals like Stargates, naturally. So because we fell in consciousness and kind of consciously forgot the ways to ascend out of here, we've been dying off for a long time unnaturally, right? So I'm like, I was almost like, bro, I went to the whole rabbit hole. I'm like, bro, ain't no way. You saying we've been using these caskets. Y'all are, not only are y'all using the caskets on purpose to deprive nature of its natural nutrients that it gets from our vessels once our souls are up out of here, right? But on top of that, it took me back to Squid Game and how they started marking the caskets, right? Remember how they marked the caskets in Squid Game to know, okay, that body is good enough to where they can harvest the organs from it, right? That body's good enough to where we can utilize that body of its energy, of its blood, of its nutrients naturally, right? And then not on top of that, once that soul leaves that body, the DNA is still in the body. The body is a whole host of DNA information in the Akashic records of DNA in your vessel already while you're alive. Think about the shit they could do when you're gone, when there's no soul in it, to be like, hell no, we ain't allowing that shit to happen, right? Then they have full reign to take and use that body. Like, go back, and this is another thing, go back and look up about the woman who lost her son disappeared. Her son disappeared back in the 90s, nigga. And they was using his body as something in the hospital to fucking study, bro. Look that shit up. Because this is what they're doing. Go back. Find out those guys who said they was grave diggers. And they went into the graves and didn't find no fucking bodies. They didn't find nothing because they're using the bodies. They're taking the bodies and then cannibalizing, making us eat each other through the bodies. Majority of the fucking graveyards today, there are no bodies in them bitches. They took the bodies and cannibalized us by eating our own people. This is what they do. And if this shit get flagged, I'm going to have a backup. Make sure to save this shit. Okay? Because I'm posting this on YouTube. But listen, I'm like, bro, first of all, it was another video I made where she was like, okay, why don't we have any proof that these civilizations existed instead of the pyramids, right? We know the pyramids, but I'm saying, why does any other proof of ancient advanced civilization exist? Because they were in tune with nature. They was living by the laws of nature. You wouldn't create, if you were in connection with nature, in full connection with nature, you wouldn't create anything artificial that nature could not absorb. They use biodegradable tools, energy tools to use. And that's why a lot of these things are not seen today, because they dissolved into nature. We were so connected into nature, we use biodegradable things to create crystal cities, crystal towers that are in harmony with nature, so it wouldn't stay for long, right? Because you're in tune with nature, you're creating things that would not would not be in full disharmony with nature. You would create things in harmony with nature so that over time it would naturally decompose into the earth. So this is the shit I'm talking about. The bodies, not only are they depriving the earth from its nutrients by putting us in caskets and making it affordable, profiting off of our grief, off of our ancestors' grief for centuries, right? For centuries, y'all. And then on top of that, y'all are using our bodies, which are so, I mean, at that point, the soul don't give a damn, because the soul up out of there. From the soul is out of that vessel at that point. It doesn't matter. But I'm saying, like, they're using those bodies. Ain't no way in hell, and I seen videos where it's like, ain't no way in hell they have enough chickens to feed us. Ain't no way in hell they have enough beef to feed us. Ain't no way in hell they have enough pork to feed billions of niggas daily. They're using our own bodies, seasoning that bitch up, throwing the fucking the KFC 33 fucking seasonings on that shit, and saying, look, ooh, we have the new chicken tenders here. You know what I'm saying? That's some crazy ass shit. And then I'm like, okay, man, they really been doing this shit for a long time. Ain't no way y'all have enough food to feed 8 billion people. And then majority of those people are NPCs, not even real. How many niggas who are with actual souls, with a fucking purpose, in a higher frequency, who came here to bring higher frequencies, is in there? Majority of the motherfuckers today are not real NPC ass motherfuckers. It's not really 8 billion people. A lot of these are NPCs. Cabbage Patch Babies. They're running off artificial programming that was given to them on purpose to keep the matrix going. To hire niggas to walk inside of fucking malls, to be a clerk so you can buy your Nike shoes, so you can buy your groceries, right? But they have the choice for you to choose either way, because they have to show you, they have to tell you. And I was doing another video where it's like, they was talking about how this specific company, tobacco, right? Back in the day, they didn't have all this shit. Now, if you was to go buy, let's say you smoke weed, right? You go and buy a pack of shows or games or whatever you buy, Swishers, right? They have to tell you this shit causes cancer. This shit literally can cause heart failure. They have to shit, but niggas don't care because they've been so programmed and are so used to using it. They don't give a fuck. It's like, at this point, I already got the shit. Because they putting it in the fucking air. Look at all the chemicals they have in the air. All the shit in the air, y'all. That they put in. And not only that, it's not only affecting us. It's affecting the animals. It's affecting the water. It's affecting the food we eat. It's like, damn, nigga, I can't even eat a salad without thinking, oh, it's arsenic in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even think of that in a normal way. So it's like I had to go down. I went down a whole rabbit hole. I was researching shit like, what was he using before caskets? Biodegradable things like linens. Why the fuck we see alien every time you see a mummy? Every time you see an ancient being that lived way before this shit, what were they wrapped in? Linens. Natural, biodegradable material that could be absorbed back into the earth. And then that's a whole nother thing, because if you do your own research, and then certain things that they taught you as a kid, okay, they were Egyptians were buried in sarcophagus, right? And they knew that they would need parts of their body after they're gone. Nigga, first off, and that made me think, like, wait a minute. So, in part of Egypt, we failed. I feel like at certain parts of civilizations, we were still operating on a semi or half fallen state. So we had to use inorganic things to survive, inorganic things to make it through. You know what I'm saying? It just made me think, like, if y'all are picking up sarcophagus, death was not natural before a certain point. Before a certain point, we would go through natural ascension through Stargate passages, or through Starship, when they was able to come through here and not have to disguise in fucking clouds nowadays, right? That was some crazy shit. And I'm like, man, I have to just make this video and let y'all and share this shit for whoever needs to tap in, whoever needs to know this, whoever. Go down your own rabbit hole, bro. Research that shit. What were we using before caskets? They're going to say, oh, wooden box. Nah, nigga, what was he using before wooden box? Go back and see, that's the thing, because I was looking it up. And the first time I looked it up, it said biodegradable things. But then the second time I looked up, they said wooden boxes. So it's like, y'all have AI in Google to say, okay, he's looking up. Well, we show him now. Okay, bet. He's going to go back and research that. Let's change the script. Let's change what we tell him, right? Actively changing the descriptions of shit while I'm looking it up. And then I look up the word, like, back in when we was in church and shit, for the ones who did grow up in the church like me. You know what I'm saying? They used to always, damn, what I was going to say. They used to always say and do certain shit. It was on my mind. It just left that quickly. But yeah, man, that's some shit right there, bro. Tap in. This is one of the things where it's like we used to use degradable things. But another reason why we've had to been forced to use caskets, to use the systems that they make, first off, they profiting off our grief and sadness. But before all this, our ancestors had land. We had our own land. My aunt had her own land, where it's a whole graveyard of my family, my descendants that are out there in the fucking, you know what I'm saying, probably in caskets, because that's what we've been using for over a century now. But I'm saying, like, we had our own lands. We had our own ways of putting our the deceased bodies at. You feel me? But because we don't own the land, you can't bury no one there. So we've been resorting to using their systems, their funeral systems, to give that person dignity on their way out of this world. You feel me? And that's some crazy shit. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'm not going to be for too long here. I just want to come in here. I still got to tap into myself within nature. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys in this video. I'm out of here. Peace.